Well, it's that sad time of year. Had to pull the garden up. I always hate that because it means it's going to get cold. But you can't just stop gardening because of winter coming. You've got to do something with your plot. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm mixing up a cover crop. So I'm also expanding the garden so that the garden will be more productive. It'll give me more of what I want from my garden, and it'll also give me more opportunities. So let me show you what I've been up to. So if you've been following us for any period of time, you'll know that the garden has been expanded quite a bit. The garden used to go, it was roughly 20 feet this way, maybe 25 foot this way, and then it went in this direction here without trying to get out of focus here. It went 30 foot, so it was not quite 25 by 30, but that is what the garden was, and it produced a good amount of food for us, and enjoyed it quite a bit. The problem is that it just wasn't quite big enough. We used the felt, or not felt, but the landscaping fabric, which means you have to, space your plants out a little bit differently than you would in ground, meaning you can't put as many, which is fine. However, the garden was such that it was just enough to really eat on all summer and didn't really give much opportunity for putting up food. Now we do put up some potatoes, and we put those in our raised beds, which we have 10 raised beds right now. But it's even at that, didn't really want to put tomatoes and peppers in raised beds. Not opposed to it or anything, just we've got all this land here, and I just decided that I need to make a bigger garden. I got all this land, might as well make a bigger garden. So that's what I did. So if you'll kind of look here, this is going to be the new garden. So approximately where you see that old sprinkler that we're still using, and then this new sprinkler, it's going to be 50 foot by 50 foot. So not quite quadrupling the size of the garden. In fact, if you want to get exact, it's 3 1/3 times the size of what the garden was. But this will also give us a lot of opportunity that we didn't have as far as putting up vegetables, more canning, and also things like corn. We tried corn the first year was here. It was a huge let down, to say the least. And when you have a garden that's 25 by 30 roughly, you can't expect a whole lot of corn come from that. And then I was also trying to do it all organic, which I gave up on that. So different climate than what I have ever been used to growing in, and the different varieties I think are doing better now. So after being here for 3 years, or at least 3 growing seasons, I think I've learned a lot about this particular climate and what grows best. And I'm still learning, and I'll always learn, but it's going to get a little bit easier every year, of course. So what I have done is I have planted a cover crop, and that is what I am trying to water in right now. If you can see, this was just grass, so you can see the clumps of grass, which I decided just to leave in here and let it just decompose, and then this will be covered with the cover crop, obviously, and then I planted grass seed over here. So you see where I kind of halfway watered it right here, but this has all been planted grass seed. And what I'm doing is I'm running these sprinklers for an hour each. I have, the two sprinklers, and it's covering, I would say, a good 90% of what I want it to cover. The I just don't have the water pressure to hit the corner. So like you see this far corner way out there, it kind of being a circular pattern, kind of skimps on the corners a bit, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So if I can just get this cover crop up, then I'll be ecstatic. And let me tell you what the cover crop is. So I wanted winter rye, but I'd planted that before it did really good. Was real pleased with it. It just forms a real thick bed of grass that grows up not that tall. It just looks like you might need to cut your grass in the area, and then it goes dormant over winter, and then as soon as it warms up in here around March, when it's still cold, very cold, but we're getting into days that are not always freezing or below, it starts growing again. And by the time I was ready to use it come April, basically I just got on my lawnmower, my little Craftsman Rider, and went out there and just mulched it up real good, and that basically made a good bed of fertilizer that I could till into the ground, and it worked great. It really did. So I was real pleased with that. So I was going to do that again, but on a bigger scale. And what I had found is that the little place that I go to get my winter rye had now they only sell them in 50-pound bags. Okay, so for the size garden that I have now, that's 50 by 50, I'm going to need about 10 pounds. So that's 5-year supply of seed, and it's not going to last that long, and it's just a waste of money. So I had 5 pounds previously, so I had that, and then I bought a mixture of what's called a wildlife mix, and it had a lot of what I was really looking to get, but not just winter rye. So this is an experiment here. We'll see how that goes. I've got a little cheat sheet here because it is a mix. It is 30% Bob Oats. Don't know what Bob Oats are, but it does have 25% winter wheat, so that should be good here. It has 25% winter rye, and then it has 15% Austrian peas, which is a good nitrogen fixing plant, and then it's 5% turnips and rape. Don't know what rape is, or rape. I have no idea. Anyway, I also had the 5 pounds that I had mentioned of the winter rye. So in that mix, plus what I had, it's going to end up being 75% winter rye, which makes me happy. The other stuff is fine. I don't know about the ones I said I don't know what they are. The turnips will be fine because they will burrow into the ground. We have very clay soil here that should help. The winter will completely kill them off. So I don't have a lot of high hopes for them, being that it's this late in the season. I should have got this done a month ago, but we were still enjoying the garden and getting so much off of it that it's one of those things that'll just sneak up on you because you don't want to tear up all your good plants when you're still getting some good food off of them. But I should have had this done a month ago. So I'm under the gun just to get this cover crop to germinate and start growing before we start getting a frost, which will pretty much it'll keep anything from germinating. Whatever's up and growing, such as probably the turnips, will just be killed, and then the winter oats and winter rye will be fine. A light frost won't affect them, so you can plant them a lot later than you can these unknown things. So I'm hoping that even though that rye seed that I had left over, I'm hoping it's still pretty viable. If I get a 50% germination rate because it's actually 2 years old, um, I'll be okay with that too. Um, so anyway, I put 10 pounds total on the garden for my cover crop, and I'm just desperately watering it in as much as I can, trying to get this to germinate. The grass seed will be fine, but while I'm watering one, I might as well water the other one and see where it goes from here. So um, I have really big plans for this new big garden, and I'll like to share with you as time goes on what all that would be. This is one ugly mess. I tell you what. Look at this. This is just awful. Um, and then I have this splitter. I need a 4-way. But if you've ever tried to go to a garden center in October, uh, good luck. So I had to use what I got, which is working fine. I only have the 2 hoses that I need to operate right now, but that is definitely something I'll have to change uh, when I get into gardening next season. I'll get a 4-way, and then I'm going to be able to have adequate watering throughout, and not just in this circle of water that I have. And so so the kind of the plan with this, and the reason I'm so excited about this, is it's not just going to be just the kind of garden that is what you usually see. It's not going to be just a 50 by 50 square that is rows and rows and rows, long rows of plants. It will be rows and rows of plants, but it won't be very long rows of plants because I want to divide this by 4. So each one of these will turn into a 20 by 20 garden, which is going to be, close to, but not exactly the size of what we've been gardening out of. And you can see the water pressure here kind of comes and it goes, and as far as its strength, it'll get low like this, and then it'll kind of kick in and get high. It's because we're on well water, and so therefore I need to be able to have the ability to water in zones. And now it's kicking back up in pressure again. Anyway, I just thought I'd point that out because it's kind of funny. But these will be 4 quadrants of 20 by 20, and that's how I'm going to make it the 50 by 50. And the one reason for that is I'm going to put an electric fence around it. We have so much deer pressure here that they eat out of the garden as well as we do. So it's just aggravating. Even though we have the dog, they come while we're asleep and the dog's asleep, and they just buffet. And then the next morning is when you find out that they've already come and gone like thieves in the night. And I don't know if this will pick up or not, but just in watering last night, it looks like a herd of deer came through here. You can see all the tracks that they've come through. I mean, it's just so much deer. All those holes you see are all deer hoof prints. And I will give the one good thing about Badger is he does not like to walk through the garden. We've pretty much taught him from an early age you don't walk in the garden. So he'll walk around the garden. Every now and again, if we're in there and he wants to play, he'll come to us. But he avoids the garden, which is a good thing. And these are not his prints; they're hoof prints. And since we don't have cows, I just have to assume it's deer. Now, they can easily jump our fence. Our fence is something that they have no issue jumping over. And so it's something that I've got to address with the big garden, and I've already bought all the supplies, and that'll be another adventure that we can go through together because I've never done electric fencing. So I will have to study up on it and read and figure this out as well. So as I figure that out, I'll share what I have learned and what I didn't learn and had to relearn on that process. But anyway, just wanted to do a video to let you know what is coming. If for some reason I can't get this cover crop to germinate in enough time, then I can always fall back to the straw. That's what I did last year. If you saw that video, it was a huge success all winter. And then it was a huge mess trying to till that in uh, when it was time to plant. So that was enjoyable probably for the viewers. It was awful for me, but I can always. But that's my plan B, just in case I cannot get this to germinate. But God willing, it'll germinate and everything will be all right. If not, I still got straw. So anyway, if you enjoyed this update and you see this new garden here and you like our content, we would love to invite you to join our channel and be a part of our very small family here. One day we will reach double digits. We're almost there. We just got a new subscriber, and thank you very much. We appreciate that, and we'll just keep making our videos showing what we're doing, and hope you had a great day, and we'll see you on the next adventure.